Welcome to the very first podcast of Know the Rules of the Game. We are so excited to bring in you launching this year in 2020. What an incredible time for women in the space and also for really bringing out the secrets that are out there. And that's what our goal is for this podcast. This is presented by Women in the Housing Real Estate Ecosystem, NAWRB. Each episode will be featuring invigorating and open discussions with key executive leaders and experts on recent trends and developments in the housing real estate ecosystem, as well as intimate discussions with our peers, family, and friends that will make listeners feel a part of the conversation. Guests will share a surprising fact, are you on for it, about themselves, and I'll share a tip of the week. A little about myself. I am Desiree. I am the CEO and president of Women in the Housing Real Estate Ecosystem, and I also own Desiree Enterprises, Inc., a real estate brokerage. We've been in business for over 30 years, and I'm also the advisor investor for Amicus Brain, Artificial Intelligence, AI for Aging Population, the Chief Strategic Officer for Zulu Time. I'm also the publisher and a connector and also a national speaker for the network and wealth of knowledge across a vast economic footprint. That includes social impact, gender equality, and access to capital. And we also provide personalized advisory services to the real estate and family office community with diversity and inclusion. I reside on the Women Impacting Public Policy, Women WIPP, and Leadership Advisory Council and Enterprising Women Advisory Board. We're going to be featuring key topics every single week starting at 8 a.m. on Women's Wednesday mornings. Obviously, that's a good play, right? And they're going to be about very key topics about financial resources, natural disasters, procuring contracts. What is that? Government relations, real estate and home ownership, acquisitions, dispositions, gender lens, affordable housing, a very hot topic here in California. Diversity inclusion. What is that? Women on boards, mentorship, harassment of any form, and women-owned businesses, certification, entrepreneurship, access to capital, STEM, gender lens. I could go on and on. These are really about the national awareness of what's happening per month for what we're really going to be focusing on. Women's History Month, Asian Pacific American Heritage, Black History, Veterans and Military Families, Women's Small Businesses, Human Trafficking, and more. And what are the new laws in 2020? So really we're here to define and help and understand the rules of the game that are out there. It is our newest trademark for our professional development tool to revitalizing communication and partnerships between industries as we work together to form mindful, strategic solutions achieved through a gender lens. This podcast will help facilitate our goal of achieving a greater social impact by reaching a wider audience and engaging with like-minded individuals and organizations. So including guests, our upcoming guests are going to be Amanda Webb, owner of Amanda Webb, Amanda Media, LLC, and Little Known Stories Production Company, Hypen, President, CEO, and founder of Faith and Community Engagement, and our current and our first Angie Weeks, Realtor of Metro Estates and NAWRB Certified Delegate Spokeswoman. Thank you for being on the call, Angie.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we're so excited to have you. And by the way, as an update, you just became a broker in 2020. So congrats.
Thank you very much. That was a very interesting path, but I am glad that I blazed.
There you go. Welcome to the brokerage community. Love it. So the tip of the day, all veterans of declared natural disasters, businesses, private nonprofits, homeowners, and renters are able to apply for no-cost, low-interest disaster loans from the U.S. Small Business Administration. Now, they are the administrator, not the people who actually they actually issue the loan as through a platform to make sure that $40,000 for renters, $200,000 for homeowners, no processing fees, no application fees, and no payment for the first year. And the interest rate currently right now is at 2%. That's free money. So the tip is to go to sba.gov. You do not need to be a business owner to get a natural disaster. So that's a tip we want to start off with for everyone, because our heart goes out to everyone who's involved in fires and floods and all the things that are out there that are happening in the world. So just make sure you stay in tune and go find out how you can have access to this if you've been affected by it out there. Our inspirational quote for the day: the most difficult thing is the decision to act. The rest is merely tenacity, by Amelia Earhart. So Angie, thank you again. She's been an active realtor, now broker, since she was 23 years old. She's been a homeowner since the age of 19. Isn't that awesome? You could only buy a house when you became 18, so right after. As a creator and collaborator of Orange County's annual OC Home Fair and Homeownership Day, Angie Weeks works with the community to bring positive change to people and the neighborhoods. She's dedicated to helping people make the most of their real estate portfolio so they can live a better quality of life. So thank you, Angie, for coming on board.
Thanks again for having me. What an honor to be on the first episode.
Yeah, the very first. Other thing that's very interesting about this, where's it being held? It's a very interesting place. So tell us a little bit about the place.
Right. So Homeownership Day is at Chapman University, and we do that by design. We want to thank Chapman University for allowing us the last 8 years. They've given us this wonderful platform of letting us take over the Arroyos building on a Saturday to provide a neutral ground where everybody can come and learn about real estate, but not feel like they're in a bank, in a real estate office, and going to get that high pressure pitch and feel obligated to move. So we're ever thankful for Chapman and allowing us the grace of using their campus for this wonderful event that Chapman helps to put on. They tell their students about it. One of the initiatives is to, bring about homeownership at a younger age. And I'm obviously passionate about that because it's changed my life. And I feel like it didn't just happen to me so that I could enjoy life. It happened to me so that I could educate others about how they can also enjoy their life.
That is so excellent. And one of the things that I have to really piggyback on about Chapman University is that not only is it an incredible college, it is a private university, but it is very different. It's set in the middle of the heart of Orange, the city of Orange. It's not like have a small campus or a big campus. Its campus are integrated throughout the entire city. So you actually have to go from college to college to college within the university footprint. So the community is really part of or integrated into the campus, which is very interesting. And my third son just graduated from Chapman with his master's in accounting. So this is very fitting. And they are an incredible university that's building almost a college every year. So for that being said, 8 years is a long time to be part of the homeownership and really having the vision back then to really create and start at a young age. So I'm really proud of meeting you and the work that you've been doing here because you're like you said, you're in the heart of the community. And not only can you pull from the city, you can pull from the experts around, and you can pull from one of the most advanced universities, I believe, privately funded. They have a $350 million endowment. So, and kudos to you. And this is fantastic. And I'm so honored to have you part of our platform here at NAWRB. So thank you.
I'd love to, give Fidel Lawandry credit. He every single year is always wanting to work with our Young Professionals Network and bring in the nonprofits and get the veterans involved. And it's just Chapman is a really great campus. They're not laser focused on just education for the people that are paying for Chapman University. They truly care about the community around them. And that's why it's so nice to be a little city of Orange and, introduce those that aren't able to go to college on the campus just to kind of see what they're all about.
Yeah, I mean, real life experiences. I mean, they're really about what's happening today. And that's a big deal. And, those who don't know, Orange is a capital of antiques, of old school, of really having and I believe one of the best Mexican restaurants in that I've ever eaten at is, and this is not a pitch for them, for Gabby's, which is right there on the circle there in off of Chapman University. And it's just, go ahead.
So amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a very small restaurant. I mean, we're talking, 20 feet wide and maybe 80 feet long. It's the whole size of the restaurant. But everyone's walking around and just enjoying a small town atmosphere, yet you here are in the hub of an incredible opportunity to advance your education to the highest levels and really be part of it. So fantastic. So, and they have International Culture Week. They have all these different things that are out there. So you want to talk about real life experiences, like you said, they're bringing more than not just laser focus. They're really integrating the whole community into it. So excellent. So we'd like to ask you a couple questions. This is about you, about what this is going to be like. And so for our questions, we'd like to ask you first, what is something that people really don't know about you?
Well, I would say, the biggest thing is people don't always know like my background or my beginnings. And I'm a Midwestern girl. I come from Michigan, and I'm the type of person that when I make a decision, I just go for it all the way. So I came out here. I made a decision when I was 19 years old that I was going to come here and do my college in California, and I came out here with $400 in my car. So most people don't know that, and I just had this, I said, well, if I was afraid that I would get used to the Michigan lifestyle and the Michigan rent payments and all of that type of a thing. So I said, well, if I'm ever going to make it in California, I better not know how easy it is to live in Michigan. So basically, as soon as I was done with my scholarship on a community college in Michigan, I packed up my car and came out and figured out how to pay the California prices somehow.
That is a huge differential. Michigan to California. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I would say it's probably triple, if not quadruple, rent price differential as a minimum, house prices, depending on where you would live. And that's a bold move. And you were single, a woman coming out here. And what did you do your first week when you were here?
The first week when I was here, honestly, my sister was still here. So we explored. We stopped in Vegas. And of course, you got to stop in Vegas. And then we went to Magic Mountain. And we drove the coast, went to Laguna, and just kind of like soaked in like the California sun. And I remember saying to my sister and my friend that came out here too, is just like, oh my gosh, we're in California. It was just this, thing that you dream about, and then you're there.
Very cool. Very well. Okay. So fun fact about Magic Mountain. You talked about it. When I was 16, $59 a year would buy me a pass to Magic Mountain. Oh. And every week they would have a different band, AC/DC, Supertramp, wow. Thompson Twins. I could go down the list that would play there. You could imagine at 16 years old hearing these bands playing, and there would only be about 100, 150 people in the stage. And you got to hear them and be right up front with them at that age.
That is so neat.
Now, Grant, that was before you were born. But the idea is that you hit it on the spot, enjoying life, coming out here, figure out what you want to aspire to be and getting it done. So very, very cool. We all have different paths. We all have different histories, and we have all different developments in our life. And I think one of the things that I'm really excited about, we had a call on our board call just a couple of days ago, is that we've got to get to know each other more and not try to go find something else from someone else, that we really got to know our best friends. We've got to really get to know, what's cooking inside the minds of the people that we love and care about. And of the people we work with, because the answers and the collaboration can be so powerful if you really took the time to get to know someone versus then just gloss over it, right?
That is so true. We're so much better together, and really, it's big dreams and things like homeownership day don't happen on your own with your own power without a team and without collaborating and getting down into the minds of what are people really looking for and how can I help out this business and how can we come together and connect and be stronger together. So I agree completely. It's about really understanding your fellow man.
Well, leads us into our next thing. You created this platform years ago, and you resurrected it to get, we talked about this last year, and it's really taken on a life of its own. And I'd like to tell our listeners about Vow to Save, because I think it really plays into, you talk about the fact that you don't get there by yourself. You have to have support systems and what it takes to be, friends and family. So give us a short synopsis of Vow to Save.
Wonderful. Thank you. Vow to Save is definitely a passion project of mine. And I came up with this because as a real estate agent trying to help first-time buyers, one of my biggest, probably the biggest thing that they would say to me is, Angie, I don't have the money. Obviously, if you don't have the money, the down payment, then you can't usually move forward unless you're working with open or one of the nonprofits out there. So what I designed was Vow to Save, which is in essence a crowdfunding platform for these down payments. So if someone is interested in purchasing a property, they can go to vowtosave.com and create a little mini website that serves as their crowdfunding platform that connects to their PayPal, and it never expires. So rather than having birthday gifts or Christmas gifts or whatever you're looking for, get together, friends and family, just ask everybody to give $1, $5. We've been using it for weddings and engagements. That's really successful. And basically, because the whole, it's, especially in California, it is tough to come up with that down payment sometimes, but it's really not that hard when you have friends and family. Like if you look at somebody and you go, oh, you need $10,000, and they go, I will never come up with that. Like I've never, my bank accounts barely ever see more than $2,000. But if you think about, 100 people donate $100, well, there you go. And that's not very hard. We all have way more than 100 Facebook friends or LinkedIn connections, don't we? And so that was the premise of Vow to Save, is I'm trying to, again, bring about homeownership at a younger age and help bring together a team of people so that it's not so cumbersome on the one individual to try to just make it rain.
I love the concepts, and one of the questions is that what brought you to develop this and your passion to start it. And I hear it through your voice. I hear it. It's my sexy voice, right? I hear it through your voice. The life of, it really plays into why we call Know the Rules of the Game. The idea is that you took it from a soft side of saying, hey, that $5 you're spending for that cup of coffee, or that you're going somewhere, if someone wants to buy you a gift, then you're like, well, I don't know what to buy this person because they have access to anything and everything they want. Why? Well, maybe I don't know this person well enough, or maybe that, I'll just give them a gift certificate. It's easier to put it into a pot if they don't know about that pot of gold, right? We'll call it, and put it into their own savings, that when they come into it, they get to go, wow, I never knew I had it. It's like us as parents, I have 4 children, put away that money every year, and all of a sudden, wow, look what I have. And it allows them to invest and play with it. So what you're doing with this Vow to Save, to me, is saying it's nice to have the trinket. It's nice to have something to go out and have a great time. But my time could be better spent by having my own home, or my own 4 walls that I can call my home. And that could be saved for a rainy day. That could be saved for a home. But it's like your own internal way of saying, I want you to pitch in without giving me money, but you're giving me a cause and a purpose, right?
And then their friends and family hold them accountable. If your aunt or your cousin or your, previous coworker donated money to you a year ago, they're going to come back and ask you how that goal is coming along. And sometimes we all lose track of our goals and we lose faith in ourselves. But having those people involved, and we even have it as a friendly to real estate agents. So then this all creates this accountability system in a good way for you to end up with the cornerstone of financial freedom, which is a property.
I love it, because in a way of saying that I'm giving you, you're not, by donating money to a cause, you can gently, at reunions, gently see people say, hey, how's the fund growing? How is that looking? And it's a friendly gesture, because they didn't give you the money directly. They gave it to a purpose. And I think it's really good for the accountability side, because I remember, not to give specifics too early, but I remember when the kids donated some money and said, Mom, we want to help pay for A, and that A item. But if we give you the money, it was a large sum of money, you've got to go buy it. We're not going to buy we're not sure what you want, but this is something you've aspired for years. So we're going to donate that money to it. And if you don't buy it within a year, we're going to demand our money back.
Ah, see it.
And so to be fair, when I didn't buy it, they hounded me forever. Okay, give it back our money. You didn't buy it. We need it. I said, well, I haven't had time. That's no excuse. You need to buy it. So that being said, I love the softness of it and to go with it. Very cool. So in honor of the event, what is a great thing people can expect to get out of this event? What's the golden nuggets?
The best thing about Homeownership Day, honestly, is that it's constantly evolving and changing every single year. So I don't know if you guys used to read, did you used to read your kids those Choose Your Own Adventure books, or did they used to buy those?
What was the name?
It's called Choose Your Own Adventure, where you come to the end of
No.
So basically the concept is you read a little bit and then you come to the end and it would say, you know, do you want to go left or go right? And then based on whether you go left or right, you turn to a different page and then the story's different. So that's what Homeownership Day is. It's like there are 4 different classes to choose from in every session. So like you could go and we would have completely different experiences. We do that by design, because we know that one size does not fit all, especially when it comes to property. There are people that are at the place where they're trying to fire their landlord right now. Like they don't know how to get into a property. And then you also have people who are trying to become the landlord right now and be safe about that and know how to manage property, both short and long-term rentals. So, everything in between, there's different sessions at Homeownership Day for those types of people. And we always we're basically trying to cover the entire gamut of, I am a normal person. I am going to continue to run my normal job, all of that, but I want to figure out how to get ahead with real estate. And so if you're a doctor, that might look different than if you're a waitress, right? And we there for everybody. And we always bring in the nonprofits. We always try to find you guys the money. So I'm really excited about, for example, session 2. We've got Hapen and Face and a couple other nonprofits finding up to $90K to buy your home and down payment programs. That's something that you just don't get everywhere that you go. People trying to, put money in your pocket or help you find a way. And then another one that I'm just as you know, Desiree, we've got the new ADU law in California. That is creating enormous opportunity for anybody that has a reasonable size lot to add a second property onto your existing lot. And that could be your retirement right there. So we've got a session about granny flats on the 3rd session, and that one's going to be a really good one. But there's just something for everybody here. We've got opportunity zones that we're going to be talking about. We've got Stephanie Southwick is coming to moderate the success stories panel. I've got an amazing girl boss going to be on that panel. Her name is Keely. She owns 6 units. She is not even 40 years old. 6 units in LA, mind you, not even 40 years old. Works in Hollywood and just doesn't want to work in Hollywood forever. So she's going to be.
Well, the cool thing about it is that, there's so many different people and so different walks of life that are going to be at this event. And we're so honored, for 4 years, personally, that's where I met you, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, hosting it. And I walked into one of your classes that you were teaching. I said, well, gee, okay, well, you can front your money, have someone else doing it, and then, it's free for them to have an automatic pay with the system. And I thought, who is this whippersnapper up here that, has got this, it's just doing this, and your presentation and how you put it together. I thought, okay. And, obviously now we've connected and become, partnerships in a lot of different venues. And the thing that's so amazing is there's always a new way to gel and always a new opportunity, no matter how old, how young, what your experiences have been. And if you go back to your storybook from left to right, my takeaway from this is that you should come as a couple and bring your friends, and you all should go to a different class. No one should go to the same class with their partner, because the wealth of information there, each one is equally as important as the next session and in classes. So bring 4 and have 4 of you partner up, and each one of you attend a different session. And at the end, you pair up your notes and you put it together and you leverage the information that's shared, because every one of us independently are experts and or have vision or have lived in a way that is going to be relatable to you in some way, in some aspect. Not everyone's going to be perfect for every person that's there, but the idea is that they always say one idea is worth $1,000. So this is free. That's one big thing that we haven't mentioned. This entire event is free. So the idea is to get there and be part of it.
Love
so
that.
Excellent. Go ahead.
Bring a group and divide and conquer, and then, meet up at Gabby's afterwards. And
That's right. Well, I won't be able to see you all. Yep. And then I'm speaking on, you have me down for speaking on what? The economic footprint?
Economic independence for women via home ownership. You're going to be amazing at that. I can't wait to hear you speak.
Excellent. So very cool. So what piece of advice would you give those best leveraging the resources to overall economic development on both the personal and professional level? I mean, here we are, get out there and get it done. So I know from my own, reason I started NAWRB is really about that, is to leverage the resources that we all have, know the rules of the game. You can't succeed if you don't know the rules, and because life is a game, whether we like it from a personal perspective or a professional perspective. My mission is that if we all know the rule book, we all can take advantage of it, no matter our economic footprint, where we come from, what our background is. You've got to have that rule book. So what is yours advice?
I feel like the biggest thing that I want to tell everybody right now is partner up and team up. Find somebody that shares your vision and go forth with them together, because once you have that team behind you, have that tribe behind you, and all those interested parties, then you're really able to make the miracle.
It really is a miracle, because it's not about the end of the journey. It's the process of the journey. And for everyone on the call who has seen me travel or seen us all think that everything's glitz and glamour and it's just, a beautiful life that we all lead, we all don't know what happens behind the scenes and what impact we've had and what, bumps we've had. And you see it so heavily now, and with mental health and cognitive issues and things that are not making people happy. And one of the things that I feel is so powerful about home ownership, or owning something, is to say it's your sanctuary, your life, and what happens in those four walls, you can control and have your own place of being able to be your own person. You want to paint your inside walls purple? Go for it. Black, green, blue. You want to have an environment that is you believe is the right environment to raise your children, raise your community. Have an art studio, whatever that is. It's your place of life to be your own boss. And I think that's so powerful, because as long as you're renting and paying under someone else's roof, you're paying their mortgage, or their passive income, and you're not helping yourself. And yes, you have to take a step to get into those four walls, and then from those four walls, own those four walls. So, I'm really passionate about that. So on a professional level, how has it changed your personal life on the ebbs and flows?
With Homeownership Day, Desiree?
Just in life in general, and how to leverage the resources, not just about home ownership.
Okay. Honestly, homeownership, it's changed every single aspect. It allows me the freedom to travel, to choose the clients that I want. It allows me the ability to be generous to other people if they need a place to stay. It just, it lets me have my pit bull dog. Barking in the background. So all these different things that it adds to my life in a positive way, because you're right, it is the safe sanctuary. And if I have a bad day, I can come home and I can just reboot. And it gives people purpose to have a property. It helps you to just, get up in the morning and I'm going to plant roses, or I'm going to go pick oranges, or whatever it might be. It's just, I remember my grandparents, they were always on the farm in Michigan, and they, get up early and work hard, and they both had their own little lawnmowers, cutting the grass and the riding lawnmowers. And it was just, it was a cute, lovely life. So that's what I'm trying to help create for other people. And it's been a blessing to be able to kind of see that myself before I turn, 70.
You got a long way to go, girl. But, something that I would like to share, when you talked about your sanctuary, and you talked about, having a pit bull, having fruits and veggies and stuff like that in your home, and that you can plant, something people don't know about that I found exceptionally interesting. The ADU stands for Accessory Dwelling Unit, which a lot of us in the business are old timers, baby boomers here, called granny flats. Mm-hmm. And for years, many cities have code compliance issues that you're not allowed to have. People were not allowed to live in your garage. They were not allowed to live other places that were on your property. You couldn't have dual units and things like that. And, Governor Newsom made a state mandatory law that because of affordable housing issues, that, the rule is that we have to increase it. It's going to take too long to build out homes. It's going to take 5 to 7 years to literally get enough units out there and to have the inventory, and we're never going to get there. So, that's one of the reasons they're coming and bringing, donate, apartments for helping the homelessness and stuff like that to connect those dots. So when we talk about the ADUs or granny flats, you've done something a little different. You've converted and built an art facility at your home that allows people to do glass blowing, and a facility to something that you're creative about. So there was something you did prior to the ADUs, and you used it to where you allow people to come and have a moment of creativity. And you express that in your attire. You express that in your creativity. So give our listeners a view of what you've done with that.
Well, thank you. So one of the, and this is a lot of, my partner and a really good friend that has a glass blowing background, but we wanted to create a creative space because we don't love it that they're taking away all the creative classes in schools and things like that. And we just really feel like that's how people decompress. That's how we de-stress. And more de-stressing, not more stress in our lives. So we wanted to create kind of like this fun, like, let's call it play space for adults where you can just come and be creative and make things with your hands. And it's been going really good. We've got a whole tribe that comes and visits us, various different glass blowers from all different levels. We've got total beginners, and then we've got some really amazing professionals that have come through the studio as well. And it's kind of on the concept of art therapy and coming through and doing an Airbnb experience in our studio and talking through some of those things that are rough on your life right now, or just even, when you're twirling and blowing the glass, they say that it activates your pineal gland, and that's right there in itself. So it's just another way that you can use spaces. I feel like with the ADUs, the sky is the limit, you guys. Like, what is it that you're passionate about, and what do you want to create? Like, go create that in your space and then find your tribe. And a lot of times if you do it right, you can charge for it.
Well, the funny thing about it is think about, not a slight little plug, but think about your network ability to get to know people and trust and references. So whether you're in the real estate professional business, whether you're in networking or in whatever book of business it is, it's a great way, because I believe right now the sole source of getting really close, deep relationships is seeing people in person, living it with people in person, and having a core essence of that. And so you're going to turn to people that you know, like, and trust, and being in a creative environment creates, in my opinion, that aura of trust without even trying, because you're being you. You're not trying to put on a fake facade, right?
Exactly. All the ups and down when you're trying to do art, because usually it doesn't turn out like you want it to in the beginning, and then you got to work through it, and it's just this whole, it's kind of like a life lesson as you go through, a couple hour training in there, and you're just working with things as they fall apart and then bringing it back together, right?
Very cool. So before we have our last question here, shameless plug, how do they book your Airbnb to go to your art class?
Well, thank you. They can go to flowerdenretreats.com.
Say that one more time.
flowerden.com. That has all of our locations and our experiences linked.
All right, so it's flowerdent.com.
Flower Den Retreats.
Flower Den, FLOWERDEN .retreat. Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So our very last question. Well, you and I are very fortunate to live in an incredible community, Orange County, California, not Orange County, Florida, Orange County in North Carolina, and there's so many Orange counties in the United States. But we live in a beautiful community of Orange County, California. And what would you tell them to succeed in closing, to be successful in the high prices? You talked about coming here with $400 in your wallet. Granted, it was a few years ago. How do they help succeed in such high priced area?
I honestly tell my homeownership day class every year, buy as soon as you can. And that age is different for everybody. Don't judge yourself if you don't buy at 18 or 19, but buy as soon as you can. It only takes 3.5% down on an FHA loan. You do not have to have a beautiful property as your first property. Just get your foot in the door, you guys, and move up from there.
You're so right, because no matter if the market goes up or down, it's all about when you sell and when you buy. That as long as you're getting your mortgage paid for, whether you rent it or own it, and you keep that constant payment, the idea is that eventually it'll pay off itself. And that's the key that goes with it. So the rules of the game for this podcast is to really understand how to leverage. We talked about some of the tips of the day for, knowing how to get loans in case you get involved in a natural disaster. But the idea is that connect. Make sure that you team up and leverage everyone that you know that's part of your tribe that has the same ideologies and life experiences that you want to be part of, because that is what brings us together, is something that you can share in common, and help you through the positive and the lows of life, because we all have them. Not everything's going to be perfect every day, and to help us continue those lives. So I want to thank Angie for being a guest on our very first Know the Rules of the Game podcast. And if one more time, where can they register to go to OC Home Fair? That's going to be January 18th.
They can go to ochomefair.com, and it's right there on the first page. Just scroll down, check off the classes that look interesting to you, and we will see you on Saturday, January 18th.
Excellent. So ochomefair.com. Make sure you register, because they are free tickets, and we do have a limit. We can't, obviously for fire code. So make sure you get registered and go. And I want to thank you again, Angie, for being on the call. And this will be circulated with the podcast. And once it gets out there for our release, everyone can see it and view it. So thank you, everyone, for being on the call, and really appreciate it. So until next week, we're going to have our next guest is going to be Hey Penn, from the President, CEO, and founder of Faith and Community Empowerment. She's one of the ladies that Angie just spoke about for our next week. So thank you. And everyone, have an incredible week. And we look forward to share and let everyone know about Know the Rules of the Game podcast. So thank you, and have a great one.